Here's another example. This is the CFS, and this is also for Grand Prairie. You notice that right here it says under the communications section, so we took that from over here and just made it bigger. It says radio 118.1, so that's telling you there's a flight service station, call sign radio. The brackets V tells you that it's VHF emergency frequency of 121.5. And there's also a telephone number in event of emergencies. Now there's some other stuff here. RCO, remote communication outlet to Edmonton radio, 123.475, and it's got FISE in brackets. So what this is telling you is that Edmonton radio is not there to provide you with traffic information. Edmonton radio is there to provide weather and flight planning information. That's what FISE is, Flight Information Service en route, and that you can have a two-way communication with them on 123.475, and that they broadcast one-way communication on 126.7. So where you see this broadcast notation, that means don't call us, we'll call you, right? That's what it means. You can't talk to them on that frequency. We've got the ATIS on 128.6. We've got clearance delivery for delivering IFR clearances on 121.9. The question, what is the correct mandatory frequency for use at Grand Prairie? And if you simply look where it says MF, radio 118.1, that's the answer. So you would expect to make all of your required mandatory frequency radio calls on 118.1, and that's how you would sort that out. What are the hours of operation? And you see here they don't list any hours of operation, so therefore it's 24 hours a day, 365 days. It would be listed in here what the hours of operation were. What are the dimensions of the mandatory frequency area? Well, if you look here, mandatory frequency, talk to radio on 118.1, and it's 5 nautical miles up to 5,200 feet ASL. And that car reference is just the one that talks about designating a mandatory frequency area. So there it is, 5,200 feet, 5 nautical mile radius. Another example here at Whitecourt, Alberta. What is the correct frequency to be used for traffic advisories? So, the answer is 122.3. What are the hours of operation? And the answer is 1300 to 05 Zulu. So radio operates on from between 13 to 05 Zulu. So it tells you that right there. And what procedures apply when the flight service station is closed? If you look down here, it says radio limited hours. Other times, traffic on 122.3. So it remains a mandatory frequency, but you are required to broadcast to traffic. So that's an example of even when the flight service station is closed, even when the radio station is closed, it remains mandatory communication, except you just make a broadcast to traffic on 122.3. Even experienced pilots can struggle with this. So if you don't look at it a lot, it's a problem. Okay. Here's another example. My home airport, St. Catharines, Ontario. And the question is, what's the correct frequency for traffic information at St. Catharines? And unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you should be getting a point now that the mandatory frequency is 123.25. You're going to talk to the flight service station, and it lists hours there. 12:15 to 02 Zulu is the time for the flight service station to be in operation. So So there we go. Now, what happens to the mandatory frequency when the flight service station's closed? And you see there's a little difference here, because under the mandatory frequency, they also list ATF. It's the same frequency. It's the opposite hours. So it remains a mandatory frequency between 12:15 and 02 Zulu. At 02 Zulu to 12:15, it's an aerodrome traffic frequency. So communication, again, not mandatory, but highly recommended, right? It reverts to an MF, and that's how it's shown in the Canada Flight Supplement. Okay, so there's a bunch of examples of what to look for in the CFS.